Hi, it's Michael De Silvas for In the News update. I want to give some information. I think it's wonderful that people are getting out of jail and out of drugs, and I think I want to lift a praise up to God for allowing Asher Novak, I said plural, I meant to say single, I didn't mean to do that, that he got out of jail earlier than scheduled. I think that had to do first and foremost with God's intervention there, but I hope also that he's learned his lesson because this is the second time he's been to jail. So, like I said, the 3 times in a row I've been interrupted by something. Um, but like I said, I pray that Asher Novak really does stay away and take the advice of what the professionals tell him why he's in jail when he's in his halfway house doing his rehabilitation program to finish it up before he can rejoin society fully as a citizen again and a taxpayer. I hope that he learns and does the advice of what seeks the advice of what they tell him to do and does stay away from those people because that's how you got in trouble the other 2 times. And I'm not saying you're going to get in trouble or reoffend, but there's always a slight risk, like they always say, statistically, that you could if you have not learned your lesson. Because most people in general either go to jail to learn their lesson or they think they can go to jail and go through the program and everything to do their time, and they just learn how to be more sneaky to do their crime. They just learn new ways on how to do it. So hopefully, I know you've learned your lesson this time. And, I'm with you and I'm in support and I'm praying for you and I'm happy and proud of you that you're back out of jail. But I want you to know that they're going to be watching you. Cops might come around you and give you a hard time. Some of them may make that their mission because some officers are like that. So be aware of that. They're going to be checking on your job. They're going to be coming around where you're at. They're going to be watching you when you go over your mom's house. They're going to be watching you everywhere you go. So some may be waiting for you to mess up so they can cart you back to jail. So, I'm just telling you, they may do that. And I'm not asking them to do that because I don't think that scrutiny should be necessary. But I just want you to know I'm behind you. I've been praying for you the whole time. And I know you're going to do the right thing because you don't want to end up back there. Because when you get 3 strikes, you're there for a life. So if you go there a third time for the same charge or similar charge, that has something to do with that, you're going to be there for a long time. I'm sure they've told you this. And anyone that's out there that's like this, it's just like, when I was at the mission, I was the only true innocent person there. Because everybody else was there for breaking and entering. People were there for sex offending. Some people were there for drugs, possession of drugs, just like Asher, having something to do with drug paraphernalia or possession. And, they were there going through the rehabilitation program. It's a mission program. It's a great program. They had a 12-step program for those who are like that. But I was there because my aunt said, because we were dealing with my grandfather with his memory loss, I tried to confront the family about it, that he was losing his memory, and they didn't want to hear that because they were grieving. And their response was, well, we need to remove him from here because he's doing all these things that I wasn't doing, or I wasn't doing things or whatever. I don't know the case, but that's all in the past. I don't have any grudges or any animosity against any members of my family. I think they did what they thought was best. My Aunt Cindy said to me, you either can go to this mission or I can just drop you off in one of the streets and you can fend for yourself. And I said, no, I'll go to the mission. So that's where she dropped me off at the Good Samaritan Inn. It's not a motel, but it's a mission, sort of like a halfway house. But I wasn't there for drugs or anything. I was just there because I didn't have nowhere else to go. So I was there, and I met a lot of people that went through drugs and went through different types of codependencies and different things and did other nonviolent crimes like breaking B&B or breaking and entering or, maybe some did some child pedophilia too because they're nonviolent, but they were there. Rehabilitated because they learned their lesson supposedly, and they were there as a part of the rehabilitation program before they could enter back out into society. However, we did have one person there that did not make it to his completion because he did try to go off a job on work detail that's off campus, and sometimes it's on campus, but he left his post, and they knew that, and so they, as a part of their agreement, is if they don't go through the program or they leave their work detail for any reason, they automatically get a trip back into the big house. You mean the penitentiary, the prison, as they call it. And that's because they violate the rehabilitation agreement with the mission. And a lot of programs usually work like that. So I'm sure they've told many of you who have been in jail to stay away from people or bad influences that will pull you down or try to cause you to re-offend or recommit that crime of drug paraphernalia or possession or breaking and entering or whatever, and whatever your crime is. But the thing is, it's all the same. If you break the probational hearing or period, they put you back in jail automatically, and they add more time to your sentence, and you have to stay there for the rest of your sentencing. Usually, they don't usually give you a second chance if you've already been in there a couple times. So they're not going to give you another chance to go to a rehabilitation house if you've done it. They're just going to keep you there till the full term. So my advice to anyone that's gotten out of jail, not just speaking to Asher, but anyone, to follow what they tell you and seek the advice of what they teach you and really take it to heart because they're serious. If they come and see you out there doing something or you're hanging around with people or you have drugs on you because they're going to be doing urine tests and they're going to be doing other tests, blood tests, and other ways and other different things to determine to make sure you don't have any drugs or any arson on you. They're going to do whatever they can and to put you back in jail. And they have to do it because by law, they don't have to put you back in jail, but they have to do this test to make sure you're clean. And they can do them at any time. I mean, you won't know when they normally do it. They might do it, but they may do it extra, just to make sure you are clean and that you stay clean. And even when you're out of jail, even when you're back at home and even living in, after you get through the program, they may still have you go through tests for 6 months or to a year even after that time at various different times. They may come to your house. They may have you go to an office, to a probational officer, and you may have to give them a urine specimen. And you might have to do it. You do it right there, then and there. And if you don't, then you'll go back to jail because they have to see your urine because they want it to be your urine and not somebody else's. And they want to make sure you're clean because they'll be able to tell because they have all your test results from all your other tests when you were in prison and when you were in other places. So they're going to know it's yours. So if you use somebody else's, they're going to know. So, don't be pulling tricks like that because it won't work. And just go through the program and try to do what's right, because I've seen people not make it. Like I was telling you about that one guy that left his post and he was out there messing with a girl, in an inappropriate manner because she was underage. And then the cops came there to pick him up and he asked me if I could do something because I was there. He was talking to me about this problem that he had because he was having temptations because he expressed this to me about 2 weeks before this incident happened on the work detail when he was away from the mission, when he was out there doing, building for the mission, working on an apartment or working, on some houses because they do all kinds of different jobs, varying and ranging in different things. So, if, he may have had a slip up, but to see because of he did that, he went after a girl. And he broke his protocol because he was a sex offender. And therefore, that's why he had to go right back to prison because he didn't follow his directions. Just like if you get caught with drugs on you or any paraphernalia on you, any of you, you're going to go back to jail. It's just like if you go out and you think you're going to get away with, stealing cars and they find out that you stole a car, well, you're going to go back to jail because you definitely are not ready to be out in society because you're just going to reoffend. And that's why he went to jail because he broke the commitment. Because when you break the commitment, you automatically go back to jail. Because you get rehabilitated, or if you break the agreement, you have to automatically go back to jail and resend. Add more time to your sentence, and like I said, you do more time. So please learn I hope that people that are out, I'm glad you're out. I'm all for Asher and praise God that he's out. But I just want to make sure that he stays clean. And that we all need to pray for him. That I don't wish for him to go back to jail any more than anyone. I love him as a person, and I know he's made some bad choices in his life, and I know he's a good man, and I know he's gonna do the right thing because I know he doesn't want to go to jail for a third time because he knows if he goes to jail a third time for the same or similar circumstance, he's gonna be in there for a long time. So that's why I'm saying there won't be no hope for parole anytime soon if he goes there another time. And if you're working around drugs or painkillers or anything, if that happens to be your career, I don't know, I'm just saying this, but if you're around things that would trigger you to think about or be tempted to take substances, or work in something, maybe you shouldn't work in that kind of field because it may tempt you to retake or, to get on drugs because there are some people that do that for a number of years and then one day they get arrested because a lot of times what happens is the law enforcement finds out that you're doing something like this, you're a veterinarian or you're working with people in sports or anything, what they do is undercover. Uh, they'll go into your business and do undercover investigations and check your inventory. And if they see that you have extra inventory more so than what you have on hand, then they know you're taking it or you're selling it, and they're going to arrest you. So they will do undercover checks, and they're allowed to do that by law because of if you have a past record with that, they will come and check your facility. If you're working with people in the athletic field or in sports, they know that that's what you're doing, and they're going to check you and make sure that you have the stuff that's ordered the right amount that you're supposed to have. And if there's more that's there that's not showing visibly, physically in your store, then they're going to know you're either taking it or selling it, so they're going to arrest you. So make sure you don't get around things that can cause you a trigger to mess up. And I'm not saying you're going to do that, but it's tempting because if you have a past problem with that, where you have to get high on painkillers or get high on other drugs or things, it may be a temptation for you to redo it again because you're in a place of opportunity which you want to avoid, as they tell you in therapy, to avoid anything that would trigger you or give you an opportunity to reoffend, to redo drugs, or to do that kind of stuff, what got you in jail the last couple of times. Because the whole point is to be rehabilitated, and so you can be back out in society and be free, and be able to start your life over. It's like a do-over. And sometimes some of y'all one time, some of you two times, and some of you all, if are on your way to going back to jail a third time because you're not doing things right. And then hopefully, I hope none of you all do go back to jail a third time. Because that's the goal. And that's the whole idea with these halfway houses, is to keep you from going to jail. That's why they teach you and have you go to group discussion therapy and have you do activities with inmates that or other inmates from other jails that may be there that you can speak to and communicate with. And that'll help you and help them, hopefully, to overcome that problem so you don't fall back into that proverbial trap and get yourself back in the slammer. Because that's the whole idea. We don't want you back in the slammer. We want you to be a productive person, man or woman, in society. And that's the whole reason what the rehabilitation is really supposed to be about. So, pray for people like Asher. He's out of jail, but, there's temptations and familiarities. And make sure pray that he does not fall into those temptations and get back in there. And, because I don't want him in there. And please make sure that, if you are doing something with athletics, or if you're doing something with anything with drugs like veterinarian or anything like that, and you have that in your background, the feds are going to come by and do undercover checks to check your inventory. So if you have more inventory, like I stated a few minutes ago, that's not showing visibly in your store than in your place where your business is, where you are, have medicines that are prescription that are strong, then they're going to assume that either you're selling it to somebody or you're taking it yourself, and they're going to automatically arrest you. So remember that. If you're doing that kind of work, it's great, but don't fall into the temptation or proverbial trap, and get yourself in that lurement state to think you can be above the system and think no one's watching, because believe me, they are. And you're going to get caught again if you do fall for that trap. So don't fall for that. That's why you need to be ready. And this time, ask God to help you overcome this. Don't try to do it alone by the classes they give you alone, but do it with God's help. And all these people that have gone to jail once or twice, you don't want to go back again. So you don't want to reoffend. It's the whole point. Don't reoffend. Don't give in to the temptations or impulses. Don't give in to the allurements. Don't give in to your friends, or hang around with those old people that got you in trouble the last two times or the other time. Don't let it be a second time. Don't let it be a third time, because if it's a third time, you'll be in there for a long time. 3 strikes, you're out. The third one is a long time. So, try to remember this stuff, because I love you, and I pray that all people that are getting out of jail for drugs, or out of jail for breaking and entering or some other crime, that they don't reoffend. And that they get a good support system in place. A good thing is to have a good counselor, or to go to a support group too, is another thing. And also your family is probably the best thing to have. Church, family, as well as your own family, that are there beside you through the whole process. And they never leave your side. And I just care for you. I love you, Asher. I love everyone out here that has gone through prison and is out, and that I hope you don't reoffend, because, I don't want to see you back in jail, and I know you don't want to go back to jail, and, I don't want that being your reality either. And I really mean that from the bottom of my heart, because I know it's hard out there. It's not easy, and there's a lot of temptation. And that's why you want to make sure you are equipped with Scripture, and that you're equipped with a plan as a backdoor plan, so you don't fall back into that trap, that proverbial trap of what got you in trouble the first time or second time, so there ain't a third time. Okay, this is Michael DeSilvas with a tip. I love you, Asher, and keep up the good work, because I know God is with you, man. And for all you out there that are struggling, I hope this tape helps you, because that's what it's really all about, because I love you. And even if I don't know you, I'm praying for you. Take care. Michael DeSilvas from New Under Church of Christ and Love FM, because we care about you. Take care. Subscribe down below, and please send a donation or a love offering. Send it to me. You can PM me or personal message me on Facebook, and let me know what you're able to send, because it will definitely help, because we definitely need the money at this time. Thanks a lot for everyone that does send, and God bless everyone. Take care. Love you.